guys, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Nepo babies. Now, if you don't know what Nepo babies are, truly you've been missing some really fun discourse on Twitter. Nepo babies are basically, as the name suggests, babies of nepotism. If you don't know what nepotism is, here's a quick definition, but basically the dumbed down version I can tell you is that they're related to someone that has a significant influence, oftentimes someone who has a significant influence in the same career path. The discussion that always comes up is how much is this person qualified to actually do this job. For example, I'm going to use acting as my running example here, as opposed to how much are we giving this person a role because they're connected to said person. And to be clear, I do think that sometimes you don't even need the famous actor or actress to say anything to the director, casting, whatever. I just feel like there's this kind of implication of, oh shit, if I don't accept this person that has parents of influence, then some kind of negative repercussion will happen. So I think a lot of it is not even directly said, it's just implied or assumed. Does that make sense? Anyway, enough of my blabbering. So there's this cover of New York Magazine that came out, and that's pretty much what started this whole Nepo baby discussion. And as you can see, it says, "She has her mother's eyes and agent. Extremely overanalyzing Hollywood's Nepo baby boom." So this cover is really what got people talking. "Hush little famous babies, don't you cry. New York Magazine calls 2022 the year of the Nepo baby in its most recent issue, but the magazine's cover, published Monday, is what really has the internet's attention. The heads of famous children born to Hollywood stars, including Dakota Johnson, Lily Rose Depp, Ben Platt, and Zoe Kravitz, are edited onto babies' bodies alongside the headline in bright pink text, 'She has her mother's eyes and agent.' As explained by the article by Vulture senior writer Nate Jones, the two-word term is used to describe the kin of the industry's biggest names who have an advantage in Hollywood because of their parents. This is the Nepo babies' credo. Try, and if at first you don't succeed, remember you're still a celebrity's child, so try again," Jones writes. "We love them, we hate them, we disrespect them, we're obsessed with them." The article goes on to examine Brooklyn Beckham, Maya Hawke, Maude Apatow, and many others on the long list of famous offspring of famous people. But Twitter has started a debate merely about the cover. Some users called the image clever and admitted they were obsessed with it. "I'm going to frame this in my living room," one person even declared. "I know these graphic designers were laughing their asses off while making this," another said. Many people who found humor in it all, including one user who deemed the author kind of a genius though to be able to cite that many types of examples of Nepo babies. Oh yes, they were mad as hell. Obviously, this is going to get a reaction out of people, and I think as a general consensus, and you guys can disagree with me in the comments down below if I am wrong, as a general consensus, I think we can say that none of us are really here for people who just get a job because they know someone, right? It's kind of the same discussion that we've seen in the past with celebrities' children getting into universities they had no business getting into because the celebrity parents pulled some strings. It's the same thing. It's about meritocracy. It's about deserving what you're getting. I think we can all agree that we want people who deserve the role as opposed to people who have a famous last name. That being said, I will say I am not immediately going to assume that the daughter of a celebrity or son of a celebrity got a job just because they are the son or daughter of a celebrity. I obviously would have to see them act, and then I could come to my own conclusions of whether I think they deserve it or not. But then again, that's just my opinion, and it doesn't affect them at all, and they're still millionaires, so whatever. I don't think it's fair to jump to those conclusions, because otherwise you're really putting those people kind of in a box, because yeah, being a celebrity makes your quality of life different. You probably don't have a lot of the same problems most average people have. That being said, if you want to be an actor or an actress and you're pursuing that, I also don't think it's fair to immediately assume that the only times you're going to get roles is because you're related to someone as opposed to deserving them. I think that puts any son, daughter, relative of celebrities in a really shit position because they can't win. Because they try their hardest and then they get a role, and then people are going to run to say automatically, oh, they got the role because they're related to said celebrity. They don't work hard and they get the role, people are still going to say the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, what are they supposed to do? At that point, like, what can you do? You got to give them at least a chance to do what they want to do and show you what they can do. And then if you still think they suck and they don't deserve it, well, fine. But at least you tried. At least they tried. Anyway, there's a tweet here that says, I don't mind Nepo babies if they're actually talented and are humble. Sure, it's annoying as fuck, but that's life. Suck it up, play the game. The industry is a game. If you think it isn't, good luck. I agree with this person. I just think this is the reality of the fact that it is an industry, so some people will get in just because of a name. That being said, maybe they'll get in for another reason. However, others deemed the article to be unoriginal. This is nothing new though. Angelina Jolie, Sean Astin, Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Aniston, Hollywood always has and always will be full of Nepo babies, one person wrote. Is it really a Nepo baby boom, or has it always been this way and we just didn't realize? And then they list a bunch of actors. Or are they more industry babies? Another confused user asked. I'd be pissed if I woke up one morning and my face was on the cover of a magazine for being a Nepo baby because, like, of all the Nepo babies, you chose me. Another defended the cover stars. Now that one's actually kind of funny. Why the article was written as a Gossip Girl script, one asked. Others were flat out upset that some of their favorite celebs were included in the story and defended their hard-earned careers. Majority of Nepo babies included in this article wouldn't have been, one user wrote. Everyone except Depp, I don't know about her to be honest, has made a path for themselves outside of their parents. Like, don't try to embarrass folks who worked hard for their names. Bad job, New York Magazine. You know Ben Platt will sue because that man will never admit he's a Nepo baby, laughing my ass off, another stated. So far, it's actually pretty interesting how people are divided. Now, I haven't scoured all the corners of Twitter for my own mental health, but I do think it's interesting that there are two sides of the coin, and it doesn't seem like it's drastically in one direction or the other. From what I've seen, it's just a lot of one side and the other side as opposed to everyone agreeing. That makes things more interesting because I'm so used to seeing the same opinion over and over again on Twitter, so thank you for that. Prepare yourselves for what you're gonna hear now because I really do think this probably pissed off a lot of fucking people. Just last month in an interview with Elle, Lily Rose Depp, daughter of Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis, stated that her Nepo baby label doesn't make any sense. Now, my question too is, Nepo baby is an umbrella term, right? So first of all, I'd never call someone a Nepo baby because it just seems derogatory. It's never gonna be a compliment. But I'm also wondering, is it just a fact? Like, if your parents are actors and you become an actor, are you a Nepo baby just because you're related to them, or are you a Nepo baby only if you get roles because you're related to them? Does that make sense? Is it just a fact of like your birth, or is it a fact of your meritocracy? Am I making sense here? My brain is just a hamster running on a wheel at this point. Okay, so what I was pathetically trying to explain there is this. There are two things. So, are you only a Nepo baby if you get a role you don't deserve because you're related to so-and-so? Or are you forever a Nepo baby no matter what, even if you're talented and you deserve all your roles? Does that make sense? So basically I'm asking, is it just about your birth, or is it about your birth and your talent or lack thereof? Hopefully that helps. It's weird to me to reduce somebody to the idea that they're only there because it's a generational thing, the model and actress said. It just doesn't make any sense. If somebody's mom or dad is a doctor and then the kid becomes a doctor, you're not going to be like, well, you're only a doctor because your parent is a doctor. It's like, no, I went to medical school and trained, the 23-year-old added. Maybe you get your foot in the door, but you still just have your foot in the door. There's a lot of work that comes after that. So what I am going to say, first things first, because this bothered me, but this is just a silly me thing. The comparison does not compute, because to be a doctor, you need paperwork, as in you need years upon years of schooling, and granted, maybe your parents can help you get into a school, but you still need to do that schooling, you still need to do those exams, and it's pretty black and white. It's a little bit more mathy, as in 1 + 1 will always equal 2. It's not like art where it's up to interpretation. It's like you need to have all of these degrees to get to said point. In some ways, I can understand the parallel, but with actors, it's like you don't necessarily need that paperwork. There is no like necessary that I know of exam that you need to take in order to be able to get on that stage and start acting. So the hoops you need to jump through are just very different, and it's a very different process. Trust and believe, as someone who's applying to PhD programs. Okay, so I did want to clarify one thing though. Just because you're not taking the fucking MCATs or some standardized test, it doesn't mean that your career is less valid. What I am saying is that things in the arts, much like writing, I self-published a book on Amazon, right? I did this years ago, but I could do that without a degree. The same way that if I didn't go to school at all for English and literature, I could still, if someone saw any talent in me, I could still get a book published because I don't need the paperwork to say, oh yeah, you went to school for X amount of years. With doctors, that's just not the case. That's why I'm saying I can see the parallel, but there is a very big discrepancy there because we are comparing the arts and the sciences, which in and of itself is a difficult thing to do because there will always be things in common, but a lot of the rules are just very different. I do think she's right, like I said before, of reducing people to just like who they're related to, because there still can be talent, and I think it's unfair to shut down the idea that there still can be talent there. But we can't also pretend that they see the last name Depp, or they know that you're related to Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis, and they're just going to pretend that that's not there. Does that make sense? So I just think there has to be this healthy level of awareness of saying, yeah, I have a name. That name gives me some advantages regardless. Those advantages might even just be small things like giving you a couple extra minutes compared to everyone else when you go and audition. It might be giving you more leniency on when you go to audition. You know, like it might be these very, very small things that at the end of the day don't have much to do with the quality of your work, but still are things that other people don't get. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. For me, the bottom line is always gonna be, are they talented? Because if they're talented, to me, they deserve to be there, and that's really the end of the story. Now, obviously, how they got there is really the problematic part. We can say that there are some people who are just discovered as talents, and they pass in front of everyone else that was, quote-unquote, in line as well. So we also have to see, where do you draw the line there? You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.